welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for younger gamers by gamers. I'm Hex.
And I'm Bajo.
And I am D.A.R.R.E.N.
And have we got a show in store for you?
Oh, indeed we do. We'll be taking a look at Skylanders, Spyro's adventures to see if putting toys and portals and gaming together make for a great mix.
No, D.A.R.R.E.N, no! You are not blowing those vuvuzelas.
And we'll be looking at the latest FIFA 2012.
Very dangerously. And they managed to score here.
D.A.R.R.E.N, look, how about I just hold it for you for a second?
Plus, Goose puts on another funny suit. This time to show how motion capture works.
Suited up and ready for action, but can you tell me what are all these little dots for?
No, D.A.R.R.E.N, no!
Creating an appropriate atmosphere.
It doesn't quite work without a stadium.
Oh.
FIFA 12 is the latest in the EA Sports football franchise. There's one of these games every year, and usually it's just minor adjustments and improvements here and there, but this year they've made a pretty big change to the gameplay.
That's right. FIFA 12 introduces what is called tactical defending, and it changes the way you play. In FIFA 11, you could hold down a button to make your defenders rush the ball, but now that same button actually makes them backpedal and stand off the attacking player. This is all about containing your opponent, and in turn it makes it look more realistic, but doesn't make it more fun.
Well, it's hard to get the hang of, especially if you're used to last year's game. It makes the football a lot slower, and you have to concentrate a lot harder to defend properly. It's now much easier to be put off balance and see your opponent cruise through to score an awesome goal. Guys, I think experienced players will love that tactical defending makes it more like a sim of the real thing. But, you know, people that just want a bit of fast fun will really want to go into the settings and change it back to the legacy system, which makes it more like FIFA 11.
There's also a new player impact system, which enhances the physics in collisions. Although with some players, it's a bit hard to tell if they aren't just faking it.
There are a stack of improvements in other areas of the game too. Loading times are faster. There's more detail in the career modes, such as the addition of player morale, and some of the online features have been enhanced. You earn XP every time you play the game, which goes towards raising your favourite club's standing on a global ladder, as well as your own FIFA status.
You get such a warm, fuzzy feeling every time that experience ticks over, even if you can't spend that XP on anything.
There is a daily points cap too, so you can't go too nuts with it. FIFA has always looked pretty slick, but this version I think is the smoothest yet. At times you catch yourself just going, oh, this looks real.
I actually thought some of the players looked a bit blobby at times. My vision receptors can analyse graphics down to individual pixels, so I can see every speck of rubbish render.
Can't see the forest for the trees.
Can't see the picture for the pixels, more like.
Still looks pretty good, though.
Well, we should wrap this up. Hex, final whistle?
Well, I say don't rage quit this game if you don't like that new defending system, because I think it adds a layer of depth, and if you don't like it, you can always just go and change it in the settings. I'm giving it 9 out of 10 rubber chickens. I think it's a great game.
Yeah, it is. I'm still on the fence about the defending system. I find it's better against the AI, but if you're playing against human opponents, so you definitely want to use the old one, I think. I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10 rubber chickens. Let's get out of here, Hex!
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!
It's my turn to do the news.
I know it's your turn, but I just can't listen to that vuvuzela anymore. Please just let me stay here while you read it.
Okay, fair enough. You can help me out.
Okay.
Bajo and Hex here for the Good Games Spawn Point news from around the world. It seems gamers are on a bit of a scientific winning streak. After recently helping to solve a major medical puzzle, gamers have now turned their attention to outer space and have found 2 new planets. The discovery came from players of the NASA-developed browser game Planet Hunters. In it, gamers are given real data from the Kepler Space Telescope and must try to identify transits, which is when a planet passes in front of the star it orbits. Over to you, Hex.
Thank you, Bajo. It has been revealed that the Xbox Kinect sensor is able to determine your age and automatically block inappropriate content. By analysing the size and ratio of body parts, the Kinect will be able to determine if an adult or a child is playing. So if an adult is playing a mature game and a child walks into the room, it can automatically switch to appropriate content for the child. Back to you, Bajo.
Thanks, Hex. A study in Europe has found using 3D can help us learn, but don't think playing your 3DS or watching 3D movies will make you smart. The study simply found that teaching school classes using 3D projectors led to significantly improved test results and attention spans. 86% of students in 3D classes had improved test scores, compared to just 52% who learned through traditional methods, while a staggering 92% of pupils in each class paid attention when using 3D, compared to just 46% in normal classes. Do you reckon it's safe to go back there?
Maybe you should call and check.
Okay. Oh, what's Darren's number? Oh, it's 7. Oh! It's not safe.
Man, it just doesn't stop.
It's not safe. How does he have so much breath?
We should just hang out here. Alright, well, let's kick things off this week with this from femur in Cairns, Queensland. Isn't a femur like a bone that's like somewhere here or in your leg, maybe? Wake up.
Hey. Hi, people! Just wanting to know what are some good games like Club Penguin and Moshi Monsters, but different. Because I really need to play, and Darren is not a no. Beep, beep, beep. P.S. Come to Cairns, it rocks. Well, FEMA, there are heaps of free-to-play MMOs, and quite a few of them are good. There's a new one called Glitch that caught our eye for looking quite similar to Moshi Monsters. We haven't had much of a chance to play it, but it does look like fun. It was co-developed by the creator of the ball-rolling Katamari Damacy games.
And for all you Hello Kitty fans, you might want to check out Hello Kitty Online Adventure. It's simple but very colourful and friendly, and for something a bit more fancy, I'd recommend either Free Realms or Runes of Magic. They've got nice 3D graphics and a good entry points into more advanced MMOs. Also, Wizard 101 is great for all the Harry Potter wannabes out there.
And if you're Batman like me, then you'll probably want to live out some of your superhero fantasies and champions online. And for you slightly older spawnlings, you might want to try World of Tanks. Unlike those other MMOs, it's all about player versus player gameplay, which means it's very competitive and you will get blown up quite a bit.
Well, those should keep you busy for hours, but as you said, Badge, there's plenty more out there. So, spawnlings, if you're playing a good free MMO that you think others might enjoy, put up a post about it online on our forums. Now, let's move on to this one from Muley in Club Penguin, ACT.
I'm in that club.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
You're not a penguin.
I'm part penguin. My father was a penguin.
I don't believe you.
It's true. His name was Penguin.
Last week, you reviewed a game called Tropico 4. What consoles can you get it on? P.S. Darren, don't be sad about D.A.R.R.E.N.
Well, at the moment, Tropico 4 is only available on Windows computers, but it is coming out on the Xbox 360 pretty soon.
Unfortunately, there are no plans for it to come out on PS3 or the Wii at this stage, though. Okay, well, let's see if we can help Christian, who lives in Melbourne, Victoria. What are you looking at?
Just finished my thesis on penguins. Can you please review Ace of Spades? It's my new favourite game and I would like to tell the other spoilings so that they can enjoy it. Just finishing the bibliography, referencing myself because I wrote it.
If you know so much about penguins, then tell me some awesome penguin fact that's in your thesis.
Penguin can lift 70 times its own body weight.
I don't think penguins can lift anything with those little flippers.
They don't lift them on their own. They get together and they form a giant penguin, and then that penguin lifts everything up.
Pretty cool.
It's called Mega
Well,
Penguin.
we don't really have time to do a full review of Ace of Spades, but we really should talk about it a little bit. The game developers describe it as Minecraft meets Team Fortress, and that's pretty accurate, I think.
Yeah, just like Minecraft, the whole world is made of big blocks that you can place or destroy. But unlike Minecraft, it's an online shooter, so the goal is to get the enemy intel and return it to your team's base. If you are thinking of checking it out, you must check with a grown-up first, as there is a bit of violence and pew-pew action.
Yeah. Ace of Spades is a great combination of ideas, though, isn't it? If you want to build some defenses like a bunker or a trench, then you can just do it on the fly.
And I thought the destruction was better than Minecraft as well. It's completely free too, so if your grown-up is happy for you to check it out, it's worth checking out.
Well, moving on to this one from Ezza in that place, Tasmania.
$100 buys a lot of penguins. Hey Hex and Bajo, I love how you always change your hair, Hex. I mean, one day it will be pink and the next it will be brown and so on. But that's not all. Bajo is super cool and has this awesome way of annoying Darren. Anyhow, I wanted to ask if you know of any DSi games that have their own custom-made characters I can make myself. Tank Woo, so watch. P.S. Darren is awesome. I am not a noob anymore.
Well, thanks, Ezza, but we're happy to say there are a couple of games that let you design your own character. First up is Drawn to Life. It's a fairly simple adventure/platformer game, but the twist is you get to draw your character and weapons and all sorts of other stuff.
And there's also the DSiWare game called Photo Dojo. You don't really get to design your own characters. Instead, you have to take photos of yourself and friends, and then they become characters in the game.
But unfortunately, neither of these games are all that great, so we recommend something like Dragon Quest IX. It's a great epic RPG which lets you create and customize your character to your heart's content. But moving on to this one from fan of Good Game in Studio 3, New South Wales. Hi Bajo and Hex, this is my 56th question that I'm asking on this show. I hope you read this. Anyways, my question was, where can you download the game Skydrift for PC on the internet? And I watch your show every day and enjoy it. Hex, you're the best, and Bajo, no one can ever review games like you do. Thanks guys.
Well, thanks fan of Good Game, but as at the time of recording, Skydrift is only available on Xbox Live Arcade and the PlayStation Network. It will be coming out on the PC later on, but there's been no release date confirmed.
But when it does get released, we expect it will be available through most digital distribution shops like Steam or Games for Windows. Alright, well next up is this one from Jared in Perth, Western Australia. Hey guys, I was wondering, in Portal 2, I heard there was this glitch that there is this hidden area where you can see the turrets rehearsing a song. Could you please show me how? Please, P.S. your show is the best. Well, this is more of an Easter egg than a glitch, Jared, but it's fairly easy to find. Simply load up level 16 in chapter 3 and play through the chamber until you get your hands on the light diversion cube.
Then set up your portals so that you have the laser coming out of this wall, then just use the light diversion cube to shoot at the turret sitting in the vent. Once you blow them up, then you'll have access to the secret room and the singing turrets.
Oh, I love those turrets. But anyway, moving on to this one from Ruskell in Bundy, Queensland.
Hey, you guys are awesome. So, my question is, could you please show a trailer for Sly 4 Thieves in Time? P.S. Hex is awesome. P.S.S. Bajo, just because everyone says you're a noob doesn't mean you are bad at gaming. But it also doesn't mean you're goob, unlike Hex, who is really good. P.S.S.S. D.A.R.R.E.N is a Magor noob. Thanks, Ruskell, I think. But anyway, we can show you a bit of that trailer. Roll the tape! Actually, it's not tape anymore. We have digital. Roll the digital megabits!
It's good to see the old Sly Raccoon still up to his old tricks. But let's go to this one now from Enderman in Reach, which is in the Australian Capital Territory. I heard the Halo Warthog was going to be put into Forza Motorsport 4. Is this true?
Well, the good news is that yes, it is true that you can find the Warthog in Forza 4, but the bad news is you can't actually drive it. It's only in the Auto Vista mode, so you just get to walk around and look at it. But it's still pretty cool for Halo fans to be able to check out all the little details.
Yeah, it's a bit hidden away, though fairly simple to get. First, you have to unlock every other car in the Auto Vista mode by completing all of the challenges, and then the Warthog will appear in the list. But with that, I think we're out of time for this week's Spawnaroonies, but if you've got a question on your mind, then why not put it in our inbox here? All right, tell me more about penguins. How did you become such an expert on penguins? And is your dad really a penguin?
Yeah, he's totally a penguin. I became an expert when I studied with the penguin tribe Raplikiflaplu, which is a tribe in Antarctica that taught me, you know, it's not about how big your wings are, you can still soar. You can soar. Sadly, they all fell off a cliff.
What was the tribe's name again for my records?
Flappy Clou Clou.
Are you sure? It didn't sound like what you said the first time.
It's just, the web search will correct it.
Okay. And how did you become so great at video games if you were living in Antarctica with the penguins?
Well, that's where they make all the video games.
Is it?
Yeah.
My world is rocked.
Yep. Hold still.
Careful, you missed a spot.
Maybe if you didn't keep moving your head so much.
What are you doing?
Well, Goose was just telling me about motion capture and how it all works, so I thought Darren and I would give it a go.
Right. All right, well, how about we watch the story first and then you guys can get some tips on what you're doing wrong.
Oh, okay.
Have you noticed that many characters in games these days move very realistically? How do they do it? It uses something called motion capture. So, to find out more, I'm meeting the team here at Deakin University, Melbourne, and they're going to show me how it all works. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Goose.
All right, so motion capture, what actually is it?
Well, motion capture is the word we use for capturing your movements in 3 dimensions in a very realistic way, so we can put that onto a character in a video game or maybe in a movie.
All right, so how does it actually work?
Well, I think the best way to show you how it works, Goose, is to actually get you in a mocap suit and get you onto our stage.
Great. Nice.
Before we get started, Dan runs me through a few quick exercises and calibrates the computer to recognise all my movements.
Okay, Dan, I'm all suited up and ready for action, but can you tell me, what are all these little dots for?
Well, the idea is that each of these little dots will drive a portion of your internal skeleton, which will then drive any character of your choice in a video game or in an animated movie. So, as you can see, all of these markers are made of a tiny little sphere with reflective material on it. So each of the cameras that we have will shoot infrared straight at the markers, and this infrared will go right back at the camera that shot the infrared and be captured as a 2-dimensional image. So in the process on the computer, we will triangulate all of these like a GPS on a small scale, and then we'll end up with a 3-dimensional marker set. Okay, so these are the mocap cameras I was telling you about, and we have 24 of these all around our stage. Each of them is shooting a lot of infrared information onto our stage, onto your motion capture suit, and the dots, returning back to the cameras and collecting it all into our computer. And there we start working on your animation.
Sounds cool.
I'm Kim Vince, and I'm the director of the motion capture studio here at Deakin University. Well, motion capture is such a big part of game development now. It's really important that students understand all aspects of how to make a game, and also that they get to work with high-end technical infrastructure so that they can develop their skills and their awareness of that.
So now we've recorded all my movements, what's the next step?
Well, the next step would be the editing process, the post-production process, where we take all your data for all your dots and we draw a wireframe between them. And with that wireframe, we will apply that to a skeleton, which can drive any character of your choice. This character can then be dropped straight into a video game.
Cool. All right, can I have another go?
Sure.
So, next time you're playing a game, think about the huge amount of time and effort that goes into making your character's movement look so realistic.
Skylanders Spyro's Adventure is the latest game featuring the fire-belching purple dragon. The magical kingdom of Skylands is under threat by the return of a nasty enemy Chaos. So it's up to Spyro to defend the magical kingdom and its core of light, and this time he's brought a few friends along.
The working title for the game was originally Spyro's Kingdom. It was going to be an adult game with lots of blood and a sinister storyline. But the developers felt this wasn't in keeping with the spirit of Spyro, so they went back to the drawing board.
And what they came up with was this. You've got this portal which plugs into your console, and each one of these characters has a microchip which stores all your character information. If you want to play as this particular character, you put it on, and then it appears in the game.
The starter pack comes with 3 characters, but the rest you have to buy separately. There are 32 characters in total to collect, and each are charged with a specific element: earth, air, fire, water, life, undead, tech, and magic. You'll immediately notice that certain areas of the game can only be accessed by a Skylander of a particular element. So, whilst you don't need to buy all 32 characters, if you want to access every single part of the game, you're going to need at least 8, one for each element.
It's a bit sneaky, isn't it? First, you have to pay for the game itself, and then if you want to experience all of the content in the game, you have to keep buying characters to be able to do it. It really taps into that need to collect that you see with things like Pokemon trading cards.
I have to say though, guys, that while all this fancy tech is all great, the actual gameplay I was pretty disappointed with. I mean, the main story mission, for the most part, is pretty easy. No matter which Skylander you choose, you start with 2 combat moves to alternate between, and you'll use these to blow through baddies to smash crates and reveal treasure.
I felt the movement was fairly restrictive. There's no jump, dash, or combat roll, so you just plod through the levels, and it was all quite basic. Your character will gain new abilities as it levels up. For example, Spyro eventually gained the ability to hover over the ground, but I didn't find this particularly useful because you'd still hit invisible walls when you tried to fly over gaps. There are some puzzle elements in the game, but I wouldn't really call them puzzles. It's pretty much, oh, I wonder where the key is to unlock this. There it is.
The real brain teasers are left for the element-specific zones, which are just bonus areas that you don't have to complete, and you only can complete them if you have a Skylander of that element anyway, sold separately. I would have preferred to have seen those challenges brought into the main game.
I felt the same way about those challenge arenas that you had to complete in a sort of dungeon in a short time limit. They were quite punishing, and I ended up just skipping through them because you didn't have to do them.
You'll also notice within the game that certain characters are more powerful in certain areas.
Skylanders of the magic element are stronger in this zone.
So it's best to use the right character in the right zone, and swapping them out is easy. You just take one off and put the other on, and there it's done. It's flawless. Well, it's almost flawless.
Yeah, I was moving through each area quite happily, sort of swapping my characters in and out, when occasionally the game would bug out and not actually let me change my Skylander, which was really annoying because the game kept telling me that Skylanders of the tech element are more powerful in this zone. But when I tried to take the Skylander off, it would tell me to just put the Skylander back on, and when I put a different one on there, it told me that there were too many on the portal. Gah!
Yeah, so there's clearly some kinks still, and at every turn the game is suggesting that you buy more Skylanders.
You need an undead Skylander to unlock this game.
Yeah, I kind of get that though. I mean, what's the point of creating all of these different characters if you're not going to utilize their various skills? I wish the application of those powers had been a little bit more advanced. There are some cool aspects to their playstyles though. For example, Trigger Happy is a kind of Western-inspired gunslinger who also throws exploding anvils, whereas Stealth Elf, she's more of a rogue and can stun her enemies, then slice and dice with her daggers.
I quite liked Prism Break. He can create large crystals in the ground and then fire a laser, which, when reflected through them, can take out multiple enemies. Oh, I dropped him.
You dropped him. Oh. I found the combat overall was really easy until you got to the end of the level, and then there were heaps of enemies, and I'd find I just burned through all my Skylanders within a minute, and you'd just be too overconfident.
But again, it's just balance, isn't it? I mean, the game is either boringly easy or unexpectedly hard all of a sudden. I would have preferred a more balanced game with a difficulty curve that let you build up your skills.
Amongst the treasure and gems you'll be grabbing, there are also wearable items you can get that, when equipped to your character, will make them stronger. So with all the character classes and leveling up and gear you can collect, they've gone down an RPG road, which I like, but they've just made it way too simple.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about more complex games that younger spawnings out there are playing, like Minecraft, Mario Galaxy, Pokemon, I mean, you wonder who they've play-tested this on. Babies, maybe.
Maybe Darren.
Negative.
Oh, you're very good at games, Darren.
Affirmative. Skylanders can also be played in co-op, but only locally, not online. The game will ask a second player to place their Skylander on the portal next to the first player, and away you go. It's good fun adventuring through Skylands with a friend, and everything you do will be saved inside your character to take home with you. And the most impressive aspect of the Skylanders technology is that it is cross-platform. You can take your Skylander to a friend's house, so it doesn't matter if you have an Xbox 360 and your friend has a Wii, your Skylander will work on any portal.
Yes, that's very clever. I think I like the multiplayer battle mode the best. There are 3 different versus modes and 4 different maps to choose from. Arena Rumble, which is just a one-on-one fight to the death. Sky Goals, which involves scoring the most goals with a ball that's repeatedly tossed into the arena. And Gem Master, in which you have to be the first to collect 5 gems that are released into the arena throughout the game, while trying to stop your opponent from doing the same.
These were really fun. I particularly liked Gem Master. It was the game that felt the most evenly matched, and it made for a lot of close calls. Since it is local multiplayer, it meant the maps were quite small, but I think they were kept really fun and interesting with the various flame buttons, spike pits, and items placed around each map, which you can try to use against your opponent. And I just love the way the announcer would point them out at the beginning of each round. Rocket Hat, mega damage.
Sewage button.
But we should wrap this up, Badge. Final thoughts?
I think the technology and the cross-platform is really exciting, but I'm always worried about having to buy extra things to just experience every part of the game. Having said that, if there is a zone you can't unlock, you might have a friend who has that particular character, so it does encourage you to buddy up. I'm giving it 7 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, I think the tech is really great as well, and I love that there were so many little items to collect if you're willing to put in the time to look for them. But in general, I just wish it was more consistent with difficulty across the board and that the RPG elements were a little bit more complex. I did have great fun in multiplayer though, so I'm giving it 6.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
It didn't really have any robots in it, though. What did it? No robot element.
Well, there's a tech element, so that's kind of...
It's kind of, but it's not the same.
I wish we could shrink you down and put you in the game, Darren.
Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't
That
it?
would have been amazing.
I think I've got a shrink ray in the D.A.R.R.E.N cave. Let's start with you first, though, Barjo, just to test it.
Okay, just on my belly though.
Still working on that equatorial bulge.
Well, that's it for another show. Thank you so much for watching.
But we shall return next week, and we'll be getting behind the wheel of Forza Motorsport 4.
And for all you budding artists out there who think you might like to get a job creating characters and monsters and trees and stuff for video games, tune in next week because we chat to someone who's done just that.
Ring, 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 ring.
What's going on, Darren?
Oh, it's D.A.R.R.E.N calling from school.
Hello, Darren.
Oh, hello, D.A.R.R.E.N. How's school?
It's brilliant. You'll never guess what. Today we learn how to play vuvuzela.
Oh, wonderful! Let's play a duet!